Akiba Maid War is a very, very brilliant show. I don't even know what I just watched. Yoshihiro Watanabe said it best, questioning the sanity of my former colleagues. What the f did I just see? For those that don't know, that's the producer of Eccentric Family, I believe the second season. I quoted and said, you must have just watched Akiba Maid War, and I got a like, so I'm going to assume that's a confirmation. Somebody just watched Akiba Maid War. Yes, Akiba Maid War, an original series by PA Works along with Cygames and Dugout. This is a very special show, and I cannot wait to talk about it, so let's jump into my first impressions, technically, of the first episode, so let's jump into it. Akiba Maid War opens up in 1985, where we see a brief clip of some maids that are driving up to this one location. One gets out, looks a little bit like an older maid, and she's walking towards the door, and this random maid down the street just pulls out a gun and starts shooting her. Which right from the get-go, I'm like, okay, we're only seconds in this show, and it's already gotten super violent. And obviously trying to set up some sort of, basically maids or yakuza. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm getting a sense of already, but yes, jump forward to 1999, and we have a girl named Nagomi who is recently moved to Akihabara, and she is excited to start her new live-in life working as a maid at Oinky Doink Cafe. Yes, Oinky Doink Cafe, which is apparently a subsidiary of the Creature Land Group, which we'll get more into that later on. But yes, she's starting her days at Oinky Doink Cafe, where obviously it's a pig-themed cafe that's up this elevator that is really, really shoddy. And down this hallway is where the Oinky Doink Cafe is. And as she walks in the door, immediately she's greeted by Yumichi, who is, you know, doing her usual maid routine to welcome her in. But she's like, oh, it's not that. I'm here for a job. And immediately she's like, okay, manager, you got somebody here for you. It's like a presentation, but then like, oh, okay, never mind. But yeah, Nagomi is brought in. She gets her new outfit, and she's starting alongside Ronko, who is a 35-year-old, which, yes, kind of get a hint that she was the one in the opening sequence. That's probably why she's 35 years old, is that, yeah, she was around in 1985 when this one maid got shot. But anyways, this 35-year-old Ronko is starting her first day next to Nagomi, who is a 17-year-old just starting fresh into her business career. And we really get a quick sense of what is expected of them as maids at this Oinky Doink Cafe. They have to do their usual moi moi kyun, make lots of oink noises and pew noises. Ronko's terrible because she's super serious face all the time. And obviously scaring a lot of the guests, while Nagomi is just super klutzy, you know, spraying ketchup on people accidentally, dropping cups of stuff. It seems like Shippon, which is another maid cafe person who's like more of a gyaru type character, she's trying to help some of them out, but overall, Yumichi's perspective to Nagomi is just, at least don't ruin things for the regulars. Like, you can screw up all you want, but don't mess things up for the regulars. Things get a little bit more serious as we have this random guy shows up at the front door. Nagomi greets him. Everybody's like, wait, don't do that. What are you doing? But so happens this person is a part of the Creature Land Group. He's somebody that's coming to kind of shake them up for some money. You know, if you want to be a part of and affiliated with this Creature Land Group, you got to pay up. Kind of turns this whole thing where he wants the manager to, what was it called? Doo-doos? Not D-O-O. It's just your doo-doos, which, yes, insinuates the other thing. And the manager's on the ground just going, nope, nothing's happening. Sorry. Okay, no, nothing's happening. And eventually this guy points out Nagomi and says, you over there, get her to run the errand for the Wuv Wuv Moonbeam, which apparently is a competitor to their parent company of Creature Land Groups. Tensho's like, she just started working here. We really want her to do that? He's like, yeah, send her. So the manager reluctantly, but still acceptantly, goes back into the back room, gives Nagomi this letter and says, take this down to Wuv Wuv Moonbeam, which is another cafe. It's a competitor. Take it to them and come back here. Well, Ronko decides to say, you know, look, I'm gonna go with her, which they end up agreeing. They go downstairs, they go to this little cafe place to have some food first because the manager gave us some money to get a quick bite to eat before you go, which is basically her way of saying here's a parting gift because we all know where this is going. They get their food, and eventually the chef guy hands Ronko this big, huge paper bag that's very heavy. Nagomi and Ronko end up going to this Wuv Wuv Moonbeam place where it's a rabbit-themed competitor, and these girls welcome them in, and there's immediately like this really mean maid like forcing this other maid to have to cut her hair as like some sort of punishment. And eventually this head of this rabbit place comes to Nagomi. She hands her the letter, and it's like just a straight up insult. Like, it's literally the Creatureland group just throwing insults at this other group. To which this lady starts beating the crap out of Nagumi, and then eventually Ranko just shoots her in the head. This is where we're going to get a sense of what we're getting into here. It seems like what Akiba Maid wore, essentially, like I said earlier, is a Yakuza-type maid turf war kind of thing. But what we're getting here is a sense of the humor that we're going to be getting into here. Very, very violent, but with the comedic punchline. As Ranko, the moment that she shoots this girl in the head, she sprays blood out of her forehead, hits the ground, and then it proceeds to make squirt noises at Nagumi. Just splattering her. So again, you're getting a sense here that this is going to be really violent, but it's all with like comedic sound effects in the background to kind of accent it as this is supposed to be funny. So it's going to be hit and miss for a lot of people probably. And this gets worse as the two of them, Nagumi and Ranko, start fleeing. On one end, you have the Oink Doink Cafe. Yumechi's there performing for a bunch of guys, and so she's singing this, you know, bubbly idol song. At the same time, that is paralleling this other scene where you have Ranko dragging Nagumi down the street, and she's just firing at all these maids, these bunny maids. And it's super violent. Blood everywhere. Nagumi's getting drenched with blood, and the entire time, every fire, every swing is to this pop music of Yumechi. All the way to the point where even Ranko is doing like idol routine dance moves with the guns. It's absolute genius. It's absolute genius how they pulled this off. And I can't get, and this is probably what Yoshiro Watanabe was talking about. What the hell is going through you guys' head? This hyper-violent, bubbly music all to the dance routine of an idol. It's genius. It's through and through, absolute genius. But yeah, this is bookended by them coming into the Oink Doink Cafe. Again, Nagumi's covered in blood, and Ranko's got like gunshots in her arm. And they're super surprised to know that they even came back. The manager's like, whoa, that's crazy, sure. They send Nagumi up to her room. They gave her a room upstairs, and the moment that Nagumi gets there, she's like, I gotta get the hell out of here. Like, I have to get the hell out of here. But unfortunately for her, Ranko walks into the door right behind her, locks the door, and says, this is the only room. We're gonna be sleeping together for a while, which is basically her saying, you're not going anywhere. You've seen too much, Nagumi. You've seen too much. Oh. First of all, the OP was fantastic. Absolutely loved the OP. It kind of had like this whole maid cafe quotes, kind of more to like a trance music, and then it like goes into like a pop idol dance routine. It was super good. And the visuals, all the crazy stuff happening in it, it was great. Really does. It basically hits both points. It's maid cafe, cute maids dancing, but also like this other darker side of this whole thing, which is the more, again, turf wars of maids going on. But no, where do I start? Where do I start? This show is fantastic, and I love every minute of it. Starting off, like I said, getting very, very brutal at the very beginning, very more serious, and then, like I said, going straight into Nagumi's, like, ambitions of doing this maid thing. She sees all these cute maids. It's the perfect job for her. She's super excited. She goes in for her first job, gets a little bit of a rough time trying to learn the ropes, and then immediately going straight into turf wars again, and then just to accent it with this amazing, again, music, violence, and dance routine at the same time was absolute perfection. Now, I really do think I've had some ups and downs with PA Works, but I will honestly say your boy Komin really did kind of step it up. Like, it showed me this is PA Works. Now, granted, I did enjoy Hanasaki Roha. I enjoyed Shirobako. I didn't enjoy Sakura Quest. So it's not as if I don't have any trust in PA Works, but your boy Komin kind of bumped them back up after I didn't really much so care for Sakura Quest. But what your boy Komin also did was show me the creativity of the studio itself. Not just that they're adapting this manga, but they're adapting it and taking it to the next level with how they're presenting the music and all the stuff that they put together for that show, which technically is not in the manga. You can't open a manga and hear music. It took it to another level, and I'm seeing this with this show. All that stuff they did the later part of this episode, that was pure creativity brilliance right there. And the way that they pulled that off was so fantastic. And like I said, it kind of puts into perspective what I think of the overall show itself, which is, again, is kind of doing this whole, this is extremely violent, this is turf wars, but at the same time, we're still going to make it fun. We're still going to be lighthearted about it. We're not going to kind of set in these really nasty moments. You know, depending on how you feel about some blood squirting out of some girl's head over and over again with like a comedic swirl noise. But honestly, that's what I was kind of expecting. I wasn't expecting it to be violent, but I was expecting it to be crude. Based on the PV, it looked like it was going to be a crude series. It had a lot of, you know, mosaic over characters' faces, that they were saying stuff that was bleeped out. So I did assume I was going to get a crude Maids. I didn't expect I was going to get actual war, like the title suggests, Andrew. But no, it was super good. I love and hate the manager at the same time. Like, the manager's like willing to do anything. Like, she's completely putting herself in the most insulting way, basically groveling to this guy and acting as if she's going to do her dues. But like, it is like, yes, she was not going to let Nagama go at first, but even still, she did give her what she was basically going off to a death sentence. And immediately afterwards, she's at the computer while these other two girls are talking, and she's like, man, it would be really great if they came back. And they're like, why are you saying that while you're trying to create a poster for Help Wanted? She got like this stupid look on her face. I'm loving the characters already. Yumichi already looks absolutely adorable. She's kind of like the Nico Nico Ni kind of character. Shippon, like I said earlier, is total Garu, and I can't get enough of Garu in anime lately. There's just like every season we get a Garu, and I'm totally for the Garus. It seems like she's less business, but more like, let's just get the job done kind of person. So I think that'll work well alongside Yumichi, who's more she's seemingly the fan favorite. Nagami at some point was telling Shippon that, you know, I want to be like Yumichi. Like, she's the one that goes up there and she says, Momo Q, and she's all perfect at it, and everybody's happy with her. And Shippon is like, again, she's not overly serious about her job. So she's like, oh, yeah, you have to give up your humanity first. Like, what do you mean by that? That she's like in another universe. Like, she's given up everything to be what she is. You're already getting a sense that they're probably going to criticize maids here a little bit. Like, again, you technically have like back alley maid cafe. It's very kind of run down. But additionally, having this aspect that they're kind of pointing out the idea that for her to go up there and do on this big act, that which technically the customers want. The customers want her to come in there and be all super cutesy and do the muy muy cute. But it's kind of pointing out like, yeah, that's not her. Like, it's her like giving up all respect for herself just to be super cutesy. And yes, I would argue that there's a lot of maids out there probably that enjoy that life. They enjoy being wanted, and they enjoy putting on the act and making somebody else's life happy. But you would imagine by Yumichi's response to Nagami coming in the first time, that's not her. Like, she's behind the scenes, she's like, ugh, whatever. I hate this job kind of thing. It's the whole cut and then the guy walks away all angry kind of thing. But no. Absolutely amazing. Akiba Maid War. I cannot wait for this series. This just amazing. I hope that it keeps this up. I will see with the following episodes if they can possibly keep to the standard. But absolutely amazing. Really creative. Liking the characters already. Even Ranko. I'm already really liking Ranko. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes from here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my first impressions of Akiba Maid War. If you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode if you're going to be checking it out. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already so you can get all my content. I do news reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Yes, I'm going to be doing first impressions for all the shows of the season. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more and you like what you see here, I would greatly appreciate if you consider supporting us on Patreon. Our tips link or super thanks button down below. I greatly appreciate everybody that does, and you'll take care.